Everyone, welcome to the XPerience Podcast Home Edition. I am your host, Pastor Gabe, and with me, we have the legend herself. Pastor Stephania is finally on the XPerience Podcast. How are you doing today, my lovely wife?
Doing great and definitely a legend indeed.
You are a legend.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here today. I think it's been a long time coming, but with school, baby, changing diapers, finally made it happen.
Yeah. For many of you that don't know who this lovely lady is, she is the second favorite youth pastor at our youth.
Actually, the favorite youth pastor.
You are the second favorite.
I am number one, even in your heart.
I think you were number one at one point.
In your heart? I'm not number one?
You're number one in my heart.
Okay.
But as far as the kids, I can't speak for them right now.
Oh, I am definitely number one in their heart.
All right. If you were part of the youth ministry, leave a comment down below. Let us know where you stand right now, or we'll just put out a poll.
It's all about Pastor Staff.
We'll see about that. We will see about that. But as you can tell, a little bit of a different setup. We are at the comfort of our own home. I hope everyone had a safe, happy Independence Day. This is a special podcast.
It is very special.
And the reason why that we wanted to have this podcast, we wanted to talk about the concept of the American dream. Now, the American dream can mean different to a wide variety of people. However, I do believe that the American dream speaks more profoundly on people who come out of the country, into the country, and ultimately end up living their American dream. And you, Pastor Stephania, have an American dream that I think everybody should be able to share and witness. So share a little bit about your backstory, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I was 10 years old when I came here to the United States with my family. We flew over. We didn't jump the border. We flew over, and but we, stayed a little longer than we should have. But yeah, we left my whole family back in Mexico, grandparents, cousins, aunts, everyone to search for that American dream. My family needed a new start, and also my youngest brother, for those who know him, was born with part of his left arm missing, and so we knew that here in Sacramento there was a hospital called Shriners that could possibly give him a prosthetic arm, and so that was the reason why we came here, was to have a fresh start and to also gain access to different resources that we didn't have available in our home country. I came here when I was 10 years old. I went to school here. I didn't know any English. It was really hard at the beginning, really hard to make friends when you come here from a new country. It could be very hard to acclimate to a new culture, a new language. And so, it was a really hard start because of not having a lot of extended family. Thankfully, we did have my aunt, my dad's sister here, and we lived with her, and she helped us out. But, you always miss home. And so it was hard to leave everyone behind. And also financially, it was really tough at the beginning, having to live with my aunt at the beginning, and then finally getting our own apartment. But when we finally got our own apartment, it was like we didn't have anything. We had really just an inflatable mattress that every time we slept on, it was me, Diego, and Joshua, my two brothers, sleeping on that inflatable mattress. And the next morning when we wake up, the mattress was deflated. We were on the ground.
I don't even want to ask whose fault that was, but
That's me. Anyways.
I'm just playing.
It was deflated. So it was definitely a difficult start, but we were all together, and that's what mattered. My mom, my dad, my brothers, and we were together. There was a time where my parents were separated, and for me, the only thing that I longed for and I wanted in life at that time was for my family to be together, and God gave us that. And so it didn't really matter the circumstances at the time because we were together.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So you had a journey. Now, obviously, with you being an immigrant from another country, as far as the access to resources that you had, talk about the journey from high school going into college, because I imagine that season in between high school and trying to get to college was very, very difficult
It
for you.
was very difficult because at the time there wasn't, we didn't have DACA. So, I mean, I was going to high school and I got into a program called AVID. It stands for Advanced Via Individual Determination. Still remember.
I don't remember that at all.
So it was a college prep program in high school where kids who were first generational, kids who were trying to go into college were part of that program, and they would help you to get into colleges. They would teach you how to take notes. They would teach you how to apply for the colleges. They would teach you how to apply for scholarships. And so I was part of that program, and that program helped me a lot because what it did, it opened my mind. It helped me dream because at the time I knew that I wanted to continue my education, but I just didn't know how that was going to be possible. And so when you come from a different country and your world is only so big because you're only going to so many places, like from home to the store, to the park, to the closest mall, and then if that, mostly just to walk around because you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
But your world is just the neighborhood that you live in. You don't know any more than that. Why? Because you're not financially stable enough to go and travel, even to the closest cities. And so my world was at that time, even though I came from a different country, my world here was very small. And so in my mind, I knew I wanted to pursue a further education, but I didn't know that really how many options or how broad the world was. And so being part of that program and being taken to different field trips, it opened up my mind to all the different possibilities that this country provides. And so it really allowed me to dream that I could go to maybe UC Berkeley or Davis, or there was a school that we went to in the Bay called St. Mary's that I really loved because even though I'm Christian and that's a Catholic-based school, it's just the faith base being incorporated in a college was just so appealing to me. And so it just opened up my mind completely, and of all the different possibilities that this country could provide for me. But I mean, for me, I saw a bigger world, but I didn't understand that at the time that world wasn't necessarily, like, it was almost impossible for me to seek that education because of my status at the time.
A little bit more details about your status. So why is it that a person in your situation could not have the opportunities as a standard American in society?
So the reason was because at the time, DACA wasn't a thing. So DACA allows for kids who were brought from another country into the United States by their parents when they were children and grew up here in the United States, went to school here and wanted to pursue an education. That law allows them to be able to do that. It gives them a Social Security. It allows them to be able to apply for a license, a driver's license, and all of that. When I graduated from high school, that law wasn't in place. And so I could go to college as a AB 540 student, but I had to pay everything out of pocket. And so for me to go to a university, like, that was an impossible dream.
Universities are expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Even back in those days, they're expensive. They're even more expensive
I mean, we're
now.
not that old. You're saying, like, back in those days, like, okay, I mean, you may be old, but I know I'm not.
You don't know how much COVID makes a difference. Like, it raised the prices of everything.
I know. Yeah, it's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it was an impossible dream for me. Yet I continued to dream because I knew that I was in the land of opportunities. I knew that I knew of so many stories that it doesn't matter your status. When you're in a country where their ethos is freedom, the only thing that can stop you is yourself.
Oh, wow.
And so I didn't know how, but I trusted in God. I trusted that God had brought me here to this country, me and my family, for a reason. And I just put all my trust in him, and I continue to dream that impossible dream of pursuing an education.
Okay. So you were in that situation. At what point did that happen for you? And what was the school of your dreams during that time?
Yeah. So when I graduated from high school, I started going to community college because that's the only university college that I could go to at the time that I could afford. And even then, I was only taking a couple classes because it was just so financially difficult for me and my family, although my dad and my mom helped me a lot. And so, but I believe it was around, I can't remember, 2011 or 2012, right around the time when I met you.
Yep. See, when you met me, everything
I know,
just got
everything
better.
changed. The law passed, I think it was 2011, the law passed of the DREAM Act. And so I applied for the law, I applied for the DREAM Act, the Deferred Action. Sorry, not the DREAM Act, the DACA. I applied for deferred action, and I was granted deferred action. And so I was given a Social Security, and I was given, I had more freedoms and more opportunities. Also here in California, as a DACA student, as a dreamer, you can apply for state funding, not federal funding. So for a lot of people who are like, oh, those dreamers are taking our money. Well, not really, because we're not allowed to apply for federal funding. It was only state funding. And so, I applied for state funding, and I was able to get some help. And then also working, I applied for many scholarships, and I was able to gain a lot of scholarships. And I was able to apply for the school of my dreams, which after being in community college for 4 years, you're only supposed to be in community college for 2 years. I was at community college for 4 years.
Hey, I was the same thing, and I didn't have to worry about any of that. Still ended up in 4 years.
I know. So after that time, when I was there was more of a possibility, God had made a way, where seeing that there was no way, I applied for William Jessup University, and I got in. And thanks to the help that I got, and to other scholarships and people just investing in my life, got me to win. I was able to go to the school of my dreams.
Nice. So as far as the journey, being a DACA student, how available were there scholarships, financial aid, or anything like that for you to be able? Because William Jessup is a private institution.
It is.
So how were you
Very
able
pricey.
to? Yeah, very, very pricey. I would know too. But how were you able to overcome the fact that even though you can attend the school, maybe financial aid, things like that, were not necessarily prevalent for you or available for you? How were you able to overcome the need to not take on financial debt while at the same time attending a private university?
Well, prayer and fasting. No.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
Gloria a Dios. Gloria a Dios.
No, there was definitely a lot of praying. But it was, like I said, this country, it provides so many opportunities for people who come from other countries, so many opportunities for its citizens. And so I was able to apply, like I said, for the state funding because my family was low income. But also, I didn't just apply for state funding because although I was helped financially, and I appreciate that, and I thank God for that, I never wanted to depend on the government.
Yeah.
I wanted to be self-sufficient. I didn't want to be a burden to this country. This country had given me so much. I wanted to be able to give to this country for everything that it had given me.
That's
and
good.
So I also applied for scholarships. So I make sure that I was doing well academically. I also applied through my church. My church gave me a scholarship. And so people investing in my life and also working, for all those people, those college students who feel entitled to just be given money, like you gotta work. You gotta put in the work. And so working full-time, going to school, serving at church, giving back to the community. That was a way that I was able to just go to the school of my dreams. And I actually graduated without any debt from that university. And I lived on campus a year and a half. And so God, because that was my, you want to get the whole experience. And so it
Yeah.
was my dream to get the whole experience. And I was able to, God, like I said, again, God opened a way for me to do that, and I graduated without any debt. But, the craziest thing is that there's always going to be doubters.
Yeah.
I was going to community college and at American River College, and at the time there was a counselor that was supposed to help people who were from other countries to get into the schools. And so I went to my counseling, my academic counseling appointment, and my counselor told me, okay, you're about to be able to transfer. What school do you want to transfer to? And I said, William Jessup University. And he said, are you sure? Are you sure you want to go there? It's like, well, yeah, that's the school of my dreams. Well, that's a very expensive school. You're definitely not going to be able to go to that school. And so I said, well, yeah, it may be a very expensive school. It may seem impossible, but you know what? I have a God that makes the impossible come possible. I have a God that with you have just the faith as small as a mustard seed, he will move mountains. And he moved that mountain for me. And so when I was also in high school, my senior year for AVID, we had to do a project where we, on a board, we put our past, our present, and our future. For my past, I put my past life in Mexico as a child. For my present, I put present doing sports in high school, my present life. And then for the future, I put William Jessup University. And I didn't know how I was going to get there because DACA was not a thing. But yeah. I put it there. And so the Bible, the word says to write your dreams, to write what you want and make it plainly. And so I wrote it down, and I prayed and believed, and again, God made a way.
That's great. That's great. I'm kind of upset because your future didn't include me on that project, but we'll get into that offline. But the concept of the American dream, for you personally, what does the American dream mean to you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Cut me off guard a little bit.
What does the American dream mean to you?
So the American dream for me is living in a place where you are free to worship your God. You are free to pursue a better life. You have freedom of speech. You live in a place, in a land where you are not suppressed by the government, where you're not suppressed by there isn't that suppression, where you are free to pursue your dreams and your passions without being suppressed by other powers or governmental authorities. Yeah, there are rules. There has to be order. There has to be rules, and there has to be regulations, and there has to be laws. But for me, this country has provided so much. It has given me and my family so much, from the beginning of my youngest brother being able to get his prosthetic arm. He wouldn't have been able to do that in my country, my home country, because they were only giving that to people who lost a limb based from an accident. And my brother was born that way, so that wouldn't have been a possibility. From being able to pursue a higher education, from being able to buy my own home, just so many blessings that this country has given me, that for me, the American dream is just having that freedom.
That's great. That's great. So a lot of your American dream appears to be tied to your faith. Yes,
definitely.
Why is that the case for you?
Because it was in this country, actually, that my family and I met Jesus. It was in this country that the very first thing that we did, I remember when we came to this country, was go to church.
Yeah.
And in Mexico, we grew up Catholic, and we would go to church once in a while, during Easter and Christmas, and just once in a while. And so when I came to this country, it was strange that the very first thing that we did was go to church, to a Christian church. And it was there that I had an encounter with God. It was a small church, only about 100 people, if that. It was there that I saw God move in my family, restore my parents' marriage, restore my family, heal my family. And although we went through a lot of financial hardship, God always provided. We never went hungry. We never, we were always together, and God always provided one way or another.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. The understanding, and this is something that we learned with Jose when we did the podcast with him, is that a lot of our foundation, our constitutions, whether if it's federal, state, the foundation starts with God.
Oh, yeah.
And so the American dream in reality ties back to the foundations of who God is, and that is to have that free will to go out and live your life accordingly without suppression.
Yes.
You know, you live your life, and if you thrive in it, you thrive in it. But if you fall short or you break the law, then there are consequences
Definitely.
for that. And so the identity that the American dream in reality kind of ties back to the original identity of who we are in Christ and in God. To have that opportunity to use our free will to believe in what we want to believe in, to say what we want to say, and then more importantly, to have laws that kind of conduct who God is so vital. It's so important. We're going to leave this with my last and final question, because we're in 2024. We got a big election year coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We're very, very excited for that. Obviously, you're in the process of getting your citizenship.
Yes.
We hope that you get it in time so you'll be able to vote. But any advice for anyone who has been in your position or is currently in your position of getting closer to citizenship, don't necessarily have the right to vote yet or do other things just yet, but what would be your advice to those people that are seeking to gain citizenship and have those rights, especially when it comes to election terms?
Yeah. I think it's very important to always be thankful to the country that has given us so much. I think about a lot of the times, especially now in today's world, we see a lot of people, and most recently, because of the 4th of July, we saw a lot of people burning the flag, right? We have the flag right behind us today, but we saw a lot of people burning the flag. We saw a lot of people,
baby.
I know, we saw a lot of people just saying really awful things about this country. And
Why do you think that's the case, honestly?
I think there is a lack of just respect, of reverence, of just being thankful and appreciating the country that people are born in. And I was going to say that something that really was eye-opening to me was when we went to Mexico in 2021. We arrived to Mexico City, and when we arrived to Mexico City, there was, how many flags did you see? How many Mexican flags did you see in the city?
Plenty. Like,
There was a lot.
just in the town hall alone, there was probably over 10.
Yes.
Just in the court of like the town hall area.
Yes, there was so many flags that were beautiful. There was a huge, huge flag. And that's good. People are proud of their country. People are proud of the place that they're born in, the place that they live, the place that provides for them. So if people are allowed to be proud of their country in other countries, why is it so bad for people, American citizens, to be proud of their country? Why is it so bad for people to have that love for their country here in the United States? Why is that same as being nationalist or being racist? It's not. You should be thankful for the country that you live in, the country that has provided you so many opportunities, the country that feeds you, the country that protects you, the country that when you're going through hardship, there's so many helps there from the government, food, there is different job opportunities, there's just so many resources out there. I work for a nonprofit, and we're constantly helping people who are in need. This country, because of the foundation, the being founded in Christ, has been blessed so abundantly, and it has given so much to so many people, including myself, that if I had one advice to give to anyone is to never forget what this country has done for you, and to honor the country that has given you so much, because I can guarantee you that my home country, the one that I was born in, although I love it, I wouldn't have had the same opportunities as this country has given me.
That's so good.
And also, I wouldn't have a blue-eyed baby.
You would not have a blue-eyed baby. How did you get the
Or
blue-eyed baby?
actually, maybe I could have.
I don't know. We'll never know. But
Yeah, because you don't have blue eyes.
the thought that this podcast could possibly be taken down because people can view this as racist is kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
I had to bring you on because I had to bring on a Hispanic lady, because if I keep this flag up and she's not here, they're gonna pull this sucker down.
Yes, it's so sad. It's so sad that people are burning their flag. And I saw a video where there was a guy who got mad because people had flags up on their lawns. It's like, it's their home. They're free to do whatever they want, just as he is free to do whatever he wants.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of this country. In other countries, if you burn the flag of the country, you get thrown in jail.
You get thrown in trial, possibly even executed.
Yeah.
We have the freedom to be able to do that. But I think there comes a fine line where we begin to advertise that this flag means something different than what it actually means. Mm-hmm. It's the foundation of a republic, democracy that is unique like no other. Mm-hmm. And that gives people their free given rights to be able to express the way they want to express themselves, while at the same time maintain law and order. Yes. that comes from God. It's a very interesting time that we're in, especially with understanding the identity of who we are as a nation. And I believe it first starts with understanding that we're one nation under God first.
God. Yes.
Once we understand that, then everything else kind of just lays out the details for itself.
I think it's also very important. A lot of the times, as people who come from other countries, and I'm just speaking for like the Latino community, right?
Yeah.
Or what I've seen from my own personal experience. I don't know about other ethnicities, and I'm not generalizing this about everyone in the Latino community, but from what I've seen in my personal experience, is that a lot of the times we just focus on the news that is beneficial for us.
Oh.
And so we support a party or views that are beneficial to us personally. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it has to do with immigration. So we'll support whoever says that they're for immigration, right? And then we forget about all of our other things are important to us, like family, like the sanctity of life, like the freedom to express our religion, like free speech, and so many other things. And so one thing that I've learned being here in this country is that we have to care more than just about ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have to not just see the news or propaganda from one party, but to expand ourselves and to hear both sides, to learn the true and the real history of this country, and to broaden our mind, to broaden where we get our information from, not to just listen to what our college professors are saying, not just to listen to what the mainstream media or news are saying or what Univision is saying, but to really go out there and research and seek and try to find truth. And most important, to vote based on biblical principles before being Hispanics, before being Latinos, before being Democrats or Republicans. We are Christians. Yeah. And we should follow what God says, not what the world says. Yeah. There's something that our Pastor Sam says, we don't lean right or we don't lean left. We stand. Yeah. And that's what we should be doing, with standing on the truth of who Christ is and standing on his principles. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. There's a thing about Christianity is one, you have multiple different denominations. So how you identify your denomination is based off of certain principles or understandings that you have. But then it gets to the point to where now politics begin to infiltrate our very own faith, where you're like, I'm a liberal Christian or I'm a conservative Christian.
both of those are wrong. Christianity is Christianity. There is nothing that goes before God or nothing that should influence our faith in any certain way, because if something does influence our faith, then that's not true faith in itself. And so we definitely got to bring back to that kind of understanding. If people are waiting for a perfect nominee, you're never going to get that until Jesus comes back. And I pray to God that you're not here for when he comes back, because if we know anything about Revelation, you don't want to be here when that happens.
Yes, definitely.
No, you want to be with him in heaven before anything. So this is a great talk.
Yeah, this was so good. I loved being here with you. I'm glad you finally invited me.
I'm glad I got you on. I mean, we had to figure out a way, so I'm like, why not do this from the comfort of our own home? So
Definitely.
obviously, if you guys hear any noises, just because we're still at home, we still got things going, but we did it right when the baby was asleep. So that's the most important part. All right, guys. Well, this is going to conclude the episode of the XPerience podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share our content. Just a reminder, we're trying to get up to 150 subscribers so we can give 150 to give away a swell sweatshirt. Make sure your account's public so we can go ahead and see you. We're trying to get up to 200 after that, but 250 is the main goal, and we're going to do a
We're going to do it.
We're going to go.
We got this.
We're going to go big. We're going to go hard or go home. That's basically what we do here. So
let's do it.
All right, guys. Well, we love you. God bless you. And I hope that this podcast was an experience for you. Peace.